managers were able to really focus on the client relationships and to add more value and giving them advice. So they were happier too and much more efficient. And that allowed us to bring in more clients. I think it really positioned us well for the kind of growth that we have experienced and want to see continue.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Palmer. It's the finale of our 4-part series with returning guest Teresa Slack. In this episode, she shares what it looked like when the business finally stopped feeling fragile and started feeling real. You'll hear the behind-the-scenes moves that unlock true scale, a growth shift that was harder than expected, and the surprising moment the end game became an option. Let's join that conversation right now. And so you made these changes and it's starting to shift. You're gaining confidence. Systems are working. You're able to do quality work. You're able to charge premium prices. When did you kind of get to that, okay, we're actually in a business that can scale? It's no longer fragile. It's now something that, hey, was there a moment when you said, I think I might be able to build this $1 million business that I dreamt of?
Absolutely, there was. Yeah. And that's when Connie and I got really excited because we could see it now. We could see the path. And back in the beginning, we had a dream, but we didn't have a path. We didn't know how to do it, but with the right coaching and the right support, now we could see it. We could see what was happening. And I remember Connie and I sitting down and creating a new set of goals. There were things we wanted to do. And I remember one of them was we wanted to be at a point that we could provide our team with benefits. And, we couldn't at that point back then. We just couldn't do it. And we really wanted to create an environment for our team where they had the flexibility to do great work, but to work it around their family. Because I truly believe that your family comes first. And we wanted very much to create a wonderful place to work. Because, hey, we'd worked for lots of people. We'd had lots of bad bosses and lots of bad work environments. So that was our big goal. And I think we all know benefits are very expensive. And so the 1 year, as all of this was starting to grow, Connie and I said, we can do benefits, but at 50%. So we started with the team paid half, we paid half. And 6 months after that, or maybe it was 8 months, somewhere around there, it was like, nope, we're good. We got it. Full benefit package for the entire team. And that was a big accomplishment for us because it was a big monthly cost, but we had now positioned ourselves in a way that we could afford to do those great things for our team, those things that we wanted to be able to do for them so that they could have a great career and get the support that they need outside of it. And that really felt good to accomplish that and be able to say, yeah, we did that. And then, of course, we just started setting other goals and, setting our revenue targets every year as to how far do we want to grow each year. And then putting in the processes, because, it's great to say, I want to increase my revenue by 100,000 or whatever the number is. But if you don't take that goal and then break it down to like, well, what am I going to do every quarter? What do I need to do each month? And what am I going to put in place to actually make that happen? It's not a dream, it's a process. And, we would have things in there. We had learned in one of the marketing sessions with the Value Price Academy about what they call a lead generation system, which is on your website, a little pop-up comes up and says, hey, download this ebook or this white paper and they give you their email address and they get this wonderful piece of content, and now you have their email and can start marketing to them. So, like learning to do these kinds of things. And it was putting those goals in place. Okay, we're going to set this up. We're going to set this up. And it was all training that we had received either through the Value Price Academy or through Pure, that helped continue to move us forward. And investing in yourself and in your knowledge and training, coaching, things that can help you, it is so valuable. It gets you where you want to be. It is scary though, because it's an investment. And then you have to do the work. Yeah.
Now you're in the scale mode, you're setting goals, annual goals, you're executing on those, taking new training, implementing new strategies. What were some of the bigger setbacks? Because I can't remember, but I do know there was you were clipping away on your way to the $1 million business, and there was some kind of a setback, and it was not that, it was a couple of years ago. Let's maybe talk a little bit about some of those significant setbacks where you're like, oh, we're going backwards. Because people also think, oh, it's just this trajectory, everything's you got to figure it out. Okay, everything's awesome. It's like a big ball of yarn that the cats have been in.
I think, at every level as you grow a business, there's challenges. The challenges just change, and you need to learn new things at every level. When you're starting out, you're trying to learn the basic things of a mission, a vision, of values, and understanding your ideal client and how you're going to serve them and setting up your systems. But then as you're growing, you're looking at different strategies, and you need to learn no matter where, even if it's a multi-million-dollar a year, there's things you need to learn and there's things you need to try. So we did a couple things that didn't quite work. And we did one that really did work, but we didn't do it right, and it caused a lot of problems. So maybe I'll talk about that one, because there's been lots of things that we've done wrong. Lots of things that we've tried and then went, oh gosh, that did not work. So one of the big changes we knew that we needed we believed that we needed to make to position ourselves into growth was to look at the team structure. Up until that point, everybody on our team was a full circle bookkeeper. So everybody was bookkeepers. They had their list of clients, and they were 100% responsible for everything to do with that client. It was their client. And at that point, we had a combination of employees on salary and contractors on a percentage of revenue. But we knew, when you hire, not everybody has the same level of skill. We had people on our team with, 25 years experience. We have one that, used to be a CPA and ran a tax practice. And we have others who have been in the bookkeeping world for 5 years. They've done their education, but they're just getting going. And expecting those two people to be able to deliver the same quality of work, it wasn't working. And, the junior people were really struggling, and which means the clients were struggling. So we decided that we would change and have bookkeepers and client managers. So those that are on the team with many years of experience that were certified professional bookkeepers with CPB Canada, they became client managers. They were also the ones that were excellent communicators, that knew how to build relationships. And then our juniors that were still kind of getting going, they did the day-to-day bookkeeping, and they had a client manager. So now every one of our clients had a bookkeeper and a client manager. Honestly, we thought that was going to be no big deal. This was not going to be a major problem. I honestly thought 6 months, we're good. Oh, Michael, it was so much harder than we thought. That transition caused a lot of problems, both for the team, but also for the clients, because there was confusion. Work was not getting done on time. We didn't realize how much time it would take for each of the team members to meet with their other half. So if this was their client, now they have a client manager, they had to teach the client manager about their client. that client manager might be teaching them about their clients. And it probably took a year and a half. And there were times where we thought, to heck with it, this is not working. It's a disaster. Let's go back. But we didn't. We persevered. We kind of backed up on how we were doing it and set some different goals. But it really was a lot of upheaval in the team internally and also for our clients. Now it's working beautifully. But it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
What do you think fixed it? What was the piece that, like, because you can imagine there's like anytime you know, it's like a relay race, you know, you got to hand the baton off. You can lose a lot of time in handing off the baton unless you don't do it correctly. So
Exactly.
what was it for you that changed it?
Sure. So what we did is we actually created a tracking sheet with all the clients and all the new client managers and all the bookkeepers, and we met with them and we scheduled it out. And they only had to do, 2 a month or 1 a month. I can't remember what we did. Because originally it was like, well, yeah, guys, just meet, just talk, and it's like no problem. Now, internally, we had some systems work we had to do with our processes to split them into client manager tasks and into bookkeeper tasks. So that was going on in the background. Connie and I and our administrators were kind of working on that part of it. But what we did is we let them tell us, okay, what can you do? Instead of, we had originally like, okay, let's do it. It's fine. So switching it up to being, okay, this month, you're going to transition this client. Then you're going to transition this client, and having it tracked as to where we were at with each client. And then we set up regular weekly meetings where we would go through that together, where we would have a look at where we're at. And, if they were running into trouble, if we had to shift it because they couldn't do it that month. Because keeping in mind that while we were doing this, they all still had their clients and they had all their deadlines and all the work. And, that was a failure on our part, not realizing what it would take. But again, we're always learning. But yeah, really putting some systems in place, checklists, check-ins, where are we at? And then I think also recognizing that change is hard for the team, and really having conversations around how they were feeling about the change. And, so really slowing it down and backing up and saying, okay, guys, let's do this in a more systemized way. And that is really what turned it around. And now it works beautifully.
Wow.
Took a while though, and it was pretty painful.
That's a big one. And it's, do you think now that it's a more efficient, like what are the gains that you got from that? Because obviously you do it for a reason. Why did you want to do it that way? And then did you accomplish that?
Yeah, so I think it has been a huge success because it allowed us to grow our client base, which we couldn't have done when everybody was doing full circle, because they would just get too filled up. And, the juniors would have things coming across their desks that they really struggled with. And the seniors would really struggle with, oh God, you want me to sit here and process receipts for the next 8 hours? Kill me now. They were at a point in their career where that's not what was bringing them joy. So being able to split that work and have the juniors really focus and get really good at the basic processing and the reconciliations and all of that, they got faster and more efficient. And our client managers were able to really focus on the client relationships and to add more value and giving them advice. So they were happier too and much more efficient. And that allowed us to bring in more clients. I think it really positioned us well for the kind of growth that we have experienced and want to see continue.
And so do you have more of the junior and then less of the senior to manage a bigger client base then?
Yes. And one thing that we did, I think it's probably about a year and a half, might be pushing 2 years, I'm not sure, is we partnered with a US company that does outsourced bookkeeping and has a whole team in India. It was on a recommendation from another firm owner that I highly trust, because we really resisted doing that kind of thing for a very long time. But they have been amazing. But we put them through the same training program. We put a new team member, and I remember the owner saying to me in a meeting that they have never had anybody give them the amount of training and support that we did. She said, yeah, usually we just get dropped in at the deep end. But I was like, no, we want you to understand our systems, our processes, how we do things. And that investment has paid off, because every time we're getting a new client, they take all the day-to-day bookkeeping, and our client managers can handle more clients because they're not doing that part.
Gotcha. So a lot of that lower level has been outsourced,
Yeah, a
and
lot.
now you have your senior staff that are able to work with clients and then go back and forth as they need
Yeah,
to with that. And I guess that's a big piece that people probably miss, whereas the amount of people you need there increases complexity from a business perspective. You got to
yeah,
hire and maintain, and there's more turnover down at that level as
yeah,
well. But
yeah,
they're taking that on. That's their skill set, and you
yeah,
outsource that, and now you can focus on the high value client activities.
yeah. And that's really what we've done. And that is what allowed us to grow to where we were, is making those changes. And in all honesty, it made us more profitable, which is
Hmm.
important too.
Yes.
Right.
So now you've built up this, you're running your business, you got pricing figured out, you have systems with Pure running, you're now able to offload that onto outsourcing, you've made this big change. Where did selling the business first become a real option for you?
Right. So I would say at the beginning of 2015, Connie and I started talking about it. And the reason being, Connie and I are both in our 60s. And we knew that at some point we were going to want to step back, and we wanted to ensure the long-term success of Financely, both for the team and for the clients. Like, how are we going to make sure our clients are being taken care of 10 years from now? By then, we're not going to want to be working at all. And there's lots of ways that you can do this. You don't have to sell. So we kind of looked at our different options, and we did have a team member that we were mentoring through 2024 and into 2025 to sort of take over. But in the end, they decided that wasn't for them, that they really just wanted to do great work and do the bookkeeping and have clients. And so, for us, that's when we started saying, okay, let's sell. Let's make sure that the new owners that come in have the same mindset, that have the same servant's heart, that will treat our clients and our team the way that we would treat them. So we did go through quite a long process of interviewing, and we had all these checklists of things that were really important to us. And anybody that didn't quite fall into what we felt was going to honor the legacy of Financely and treat our team and our clients the way that we would treat them, they came off the list. And in the end, we did narrow it down to the new owners who do own Financely. And what I love is the two owners are young, they're smart, they've built their own bookkeeping and tax practice, and they are going to be able to take Financely to the next level, and they're taking our team and our clients with them. And I think that's wonderful that our team and our clients are going to get that longer term support, where we're ready to be doing less and not be so active in the business. Now, Connie and I are both still consultants. We are working with Financely. We are still supporting them with our expertise in e-commerce, because we are the experts in e-commerce, and they still needed that. And we do also provide consulting and support for the new owners with all the experience and the background that I have, and we use that to help them. So we're still with them, but not on the day-to-day. It's more coaching and then helping them with the complex e-commerce.
I got you. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
it is.
Congratulations as well to
Thank
see
you.
you go from where you were to where you
Yeah.
are. It took
Yeah.
about 10 years.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is people talk a lot about overnight success. And they forget that usually it's a 20-year overnight success. And actually, the statistic is that it is about 10 years it takes companies to get to their first million. Is that it's rare that it's just a one and done and you get to $1 million. Now, there's lots of stories where people do that in certain situations, but for the most part, real businesses doing real things, it's about 10 years and you were able to accomplish that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know about what these buyers valued when they were evaluating your firm.
Sure. Lots of things, but I would say the number one thing was our systems. They
Wow.
wanted all the incredible work that we had put into building out all of our systems, our processes, our checklists. And we have systems for everything. We are an incredibly systemized firm, from marketing systems to sales systems to client systems to, HR systems. We are using all the systems to make sure that everything that we do is consistent, it's repeatable, and that new people can learn it because everything is there step by step. And it's all built, of course, around the pure bookkeeping systems. And of course, our sales and marketing systems are all built around the Value Price Academy and all the training and tools that we received there. That was hugely valuable to them. And of course, our team, because having a team of experts in e-commerce is rare. It is an area where we actually need more bookkeepers to learn the complexities of e-commerce. And it is getting better. People are learning. And I think Connie and I have helped with that by starting our e-commerce training academy where we teach bookkeepers how to do the complex e-commerce accounting. So I think that was really valuable to them, and our reputation. We were very well known. People know who we are. They know that Financly is the experts in e-commerce, and I think that was really important to them as well.
Wow. Were you surprised by anything throughout the process?
Surprised. I think it was harder than we thought. It was time taxing because we had so many meetings. I think the company, we did hire a company to help us sell the business and experts in that, the Poe Group. And, they brought us like 25 potential buyers and, trying to meet with all of these people. And it was incredibly time consuming. And I don't think we were quite prepared for how time consuming it was going to be to go through that process. And we had preliminary meetings with them before we even got to the sale part to really look at our financials to make sure that, we really were at a profit margin that was sellable. So we actually did do some work through the year of 2025, making decisions to ensure the profitability of the business. And we did a lot of analysis on profitability by client and profitability by team member, and really getting into the nitty-gritty of the numbers to make sure that when we did list for sale, that we were positioned to be valuable. Profitability. I mean, people have to take out a big loan to buy a company. They need to have that profitability in there to make it a good bet for them. So, you do have to prepare to sell before you pull the trigger, and make sure, look at your numbers, look at your profitability, look at your pricing. Like, do you need to do better pricing? Do you need to increase your prices? Because the fastest way to increase your bottom line is increase your prices, right? It's the fastest way. There's lots of other ways to do it, but that's the quick way.
Often people talk about like the ratio to revenue or profitability. So revenue to the sale price, was that on, like, did you notice anything around that? Often it's said like one-time revenue. So if you have $1 million, you have $1 million in revenue. Was it different in your business because you had such probably better profitability than most businesses? So I'd just be curious what you noticed through that, or was that a factor?
Yeah, I think that yes. So they do say, 1 to 2 times revenue or 2.5. And it really is a combination of things. One, yes, it's profitability, but it's also 100% cloud-based. It is also how integrated are the owners? Can this business run without the owners, or are the owners still the primary people? And if the owners leave, we have a huge hole. So we also did a lot of work around that to make sure that the client work, like Connie and I don't do any client work. We have client managers, we have bookkeepers, and they were going to stay there. So that you want to do the work around, separating yourself so that the business can actually run, for the most part without you, not completely, but for the most part. So it's how integrated the owners are, it's the profitability, it also is systems and cloud-based. So because of our systems and how systemized we are, that added a lot of value into the price, because that's what owners are looking for. Am I going to take on this company and it's all over the place and it has no systems and it's like the Wild West? Or is everything going to work beautifully? I've got the people, I've got the systems, we've got the reputation, we're all cloud-based. All of those things increase that, 1 to 2.5 times. So you might be 1 if you're over here, but it might be 2 times if you have all of these other things in place. So looking at all of that when you're going into if you're considering selling and having all of those in place is going to increase the amount that you'll get for the business.
Yeah, systems are really core. It's not only does it help make a better life for you going through growing the business, it's what's going to be valued at the end. And you wouldn't have gotten there without having great systems
We wouldn't
in your
have.
business. And then pricing, your profitability is so much higher. And that's huge, right? You're making profit. People want to buy into that. It's like buying an asset versus a liability.
Yeah.
So now you've sold the business. What do you now understand about running a bookkeeping firm that you didn't way back then?
Oh my gosh. So much, Michael. I mean, I guess if I had to say, my big learning was don't be afraid to invest in tools, coaching, and support. Don't be afraid to do that, because that is what turned us around. The Value Price Academy, pure bookkeeping. Without them, Financially probably would not exist. Connie and I would have jobs and we would not have had the opportunity to build this beautiful business that supports lots of clients and has an amazing team. And it was being brave. I always say, feel the fear, but do it anyway. It's scary, but do it anyway. And believe in yourself. You will do it. You'll be okay.
Wow. I love that. For you, looking around and seeing people you work with, you're a community member of your bookkeeping, you work with and mentor our other licensees and helping them go through things. You work with the Value Pricing Academy as a mentor. You've been there, done that. You're a valuable person in these communities. What are the big mistakes that you see others making? If there were a few that you kind of like, this is the mistakes.
Yeah. The biggest one and the most impactful one is not making the time every week to work on the business. They get themselves into the rat race, they spend the money on these programs, and then they don't make the time to implement them. That's the biggest mistake that I see. If you just use the systems, use the tools, take the coaching, block the time, block Friday afternoons. Nobody wants to meet on a Friday afternoon anyway. So, do it. Make yourself do that and you will be successful, and be brave. Do the hard things, because we can all do hard things, and it's okay if we screw up. I've done it a lot and I've made a lot of mistakes, but every time I have learned, I have grown and tried something else.
So valuable. This has been fantastic. I'd love for you to share what's next. Where to from here for you?
Sure. Yeah. So my passion is helping bookkeepers not to go through some of the tears and pain that I have gone through. If I can share some of the things that we learned and some of the strategies that we've taken, and really to give some inspiration and some, hey guys, it's okay, you can get there. That's really my focus now. So working with Pure Bookkeeping to coach uh, members as well, working with the Value Price Academy, again, working with bookkeepers and accountants to streamline and work on their pricing. And then I have just launched my little consulting business where I will work directly with bookkeepers and accountants to help them with their specific challenges. Maybe you're trying to work on your systems, or maybe you're trying to implement things and you don't know what to do. So I'm kind of doing consulting all over the place because it's the thing that I love the most, if helping other bookkeepers uh, build faster, build easier, have less tears, and not work so crazy. That's
I
what
love
I'm
it.
doing.
Amazing. It's amazing. Your story is amazing. It's been a real pleasure having a front row seat watching you take this on over the years, and so satisfying to see that you've made it and successfully done it. You've done it with grace. You've done it being a very generous person to our community and to this community, the Successful Bookkeeper. You've been on the podcast so many times, and you're just so transparent and so generous with your time and your knowledge and wanting others to help. You have that servant heart, and you built a business that had that, and guess what? That was worth a lot of money to someone, and so they get a beautiful business, and you have a great asset now that you've offloaded and have that as your part of your future.
Hmm. Yeah, I built my retirement fund, which is nice because I'm in my 60s. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
well, it's when I started working in Australia with the creator, Debbie Roberts of Pure Bookkeeping back in 2010, it was, that was their mission, to help great bookkeepers grow their business. And that is, that was really, for me, what was great was the work that you do to help those businesses, right? So you're a business owner, but you're helping all these businesses, and it's really amazing to see. And without great bookkeepers, there'd be a lot of businesses that would struggle. So, it's fantastic, and it's a real pleasure that I've been able to watch you and go through this and see you be successful.
thank you. I'm so grateful to you, Michael, being there, coaching us, believing in us, and as well, Mark in the academy, having people believe in you and support you, and occasionally have to watch you cry, has really helped us. We could not have done it without people like you and Mark and Debbie. We couldn't have done it without you guys. So I'm really, really grateful and honored that I got to take this journey and have the support that we had to get where we wanted to be.
Amazing. Well, you are the Successful Bookkeeper, and it's been a real pleasure having you on the podcast. And again, thanks for your generosity in being here. And I know you'll be back to share more, and we'll dig into some great stuff with you over the next couple of years and into the future.
Awesome. I'd love to do that.
What an amazing discussion with Teresa. She's had quite the journey, and we're all so thankful that she shared it with us. To learn more about her, check out her website, teresaslack.ca. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. For resources and links, visit thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.